Sad. There we go. All right, so Melissa Mahalik with somaticanatomy.com, and this is our practical anatomy webinar. So this is going to be all about how to get all this amazing amounts of anatomy knowledge, which, like I said, if you've been taking the rotator cuff mini class, you know how we roll in somatic anatomy. We say, here's the fire hose, open wide. And if you don't get slammed back against the wall, you get a ton of fabulous information. Now, I'm going to be doing that. It's actually starting next week, 6 weeks, different injury each week, different part of the body. So by the end of this, you're going to have a full body knowledge. You're going to know how to deal with some common injuries. You're going to know how to work with them, what to look for, and how to help your people get out of the pain that they've got. So if that's interesting, then let's see. Let me see if I can get the right link in here, because links. If that's interesting, you can head to somaticanatomy.com/JNI101, or I could just dump that into the chat here. Here's my chat. And you guys can take a look at that. So that is going to be cool. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. And in the meantime, we are also going to talk about how to take all this crazy knowledge and put it into useful stuff. All right, there is the link. All right, oh, I see Maureen's in here already. Woo, excellent. So Janet, Maureen, and other people with any luck will be jumping on. If not, hey, sometimes, like I said, tech just lets you down. We work around it. We absolutely work around it, which is why, honestly, part of this joints and injuries class coming up, it's going to be a live session, because, you know, people who can make it to New York City, and I know there's some of you can't, there's a lot of you who can, we're going to actually get in the room, don't have to worry about the machines, and we're going to have that face-to-face, body-to-body, soma-to-soma, hands-on, like, hey, can I feel what that feels like experience? And it's going to be so good. Not that I'm excited about this or anything. All right, so I have basically taught anatomy mechanics for the past 25 some years. Pilates, personal training, Pilates teacher training, sea kayaking. Yes, I used to teach sea kayaking in New York effing City. That was fun for years and years and years and years. Now I'm a somatic movement therapist trained by Martha Eddy of New York City also. I use Laban movement analysis, which is very different in the US from UK. I know we got a lot of UK people on the line today. Body-mind centering. It's a Western Massachusetts thing, and it's brilliant. And Bartenieff fundamentals. Bartenieff was one of Laban's students, so we got the lineage going that way. My favorite thing is anatomy, because people think anatomy is scary and boring, and they are wrong. So wrong. And I'm kind of thinking that since y'all are here wanting to learn more about anatomy, that, yeah, you're probably also thinking that anatomy isn't actually that boring at start. Okay, so I am going to, I'm going to start talking about this stuff. I mean, you guys know that it's really hard to take all this technical stuff and move it down into something that your clients can deal with. I'm going to say, because people tend to be intimidated by this. It's fun. And I'm going to show you how you can make it fun. Now, with any luck, the email that has gone out, that is going to go out after this, I'm going to double check and make sure it's going to have this PDF in it. I attached it the last email, but I don't know if it's working yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask y'all to get ready to screenshot this puppy, because I am going to show it to y'all and talk about it. And then, like I said, we can, there we go. When in doubt, we work around it. So I'm going to share this to you guys. Go ahead and screenshot this puppy, because then you will have it instantly. And so these are the things we're going to be going over today. And again, I'm going to be sending this to you guys. It should be in your inbox already if you have RSVP'd for this puppy. If you have not RSVP'd for this puppy, that's okay too. Let's see. Woo. All right, so here we go. We're going to go over tools for creating body awareness. We're going to go over how to modify an exercise. There's a great way of looking at this. We're going to look at how exactly you can integrate your anatomical teaching. We're going to look at how you're scaffolding your knowledge. This is an awesome, awesome way of looking at education in general. We're going to scaffold movement. That's a good one. And we're going to look at other things to consider. And, of course, enjoyability. Are you enjoying your anatomy? I sure as hell hope so. Okay, my friends, we're gonna get right on to looking at some of that. I see, Maureen, I know you struggle with anatomy. That's because you're too damn busy right now to come and hang out in the anatomy party. Actually, you've been hanging out. You're getting better. I see you're getting better at this stuff. You are definitely getting better. All right, so we are going to start out with basic tools for creating body awareness. Now, this is the biggest thing you get in, but you have a great teacher now, my dear. So tools for creating body awareness. You know, you get those clients and they come in, they're like, I'm so clumsy. I'm not coordinated at all. And you're like, you know, you're right, you're not. But you would never say that out loud because you're a supportive and kind and caring teacher, but you're probably thinking it. Just you can create body awareness and you can create, if not grace and ease, you can certainly create more friendliness with your body. And the more you do this, over time, you can really start making changes in the way your people relate to their bodies. Now, my two major tricks for this one, they're called baseline, corrective baseline. This is one that I learned when I was a teacher trainer at the Kane School of Core Integration, right here in New York, Athens City. The other one is something that I made up called correct and compare. So when we start out, the whole idea of any of these is to make a change and notice that you have made a change. So when we're talking baseline, corrective baseline, what that is when you're like, okay, how am I feeling right now? Do this with me. Check in. Like, I got my feet. Okay, how my feet feel? How my knees feel? Hips. How does my back feel? Rib cage, shoulders, head and neck, elbows, wrists, hands, fingers. Okay, now I've got a good baseline. Now we're gonna do something. So I know how I felt. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do a little shake. Just shake your knees, shake your legs, shake both knees, shake your foot. We're gonna stimulate our synovial fluid. Body systems. It's not just muscle and bone. You're gonna shake your butt, shake your booty, shake your money maker. Yeah, okay. Shake your back, shake your shoulders, shake your elbows, shake your head. You look goofy as hell, and that's okay, so do I, and I'm the one who's getting recorded. Lucky me. This is gonna end up on YouTube, I swear. And all right, now I'm gonna check in with my feet, with my knees, with my hips, my back, my shoulders, my head and neck, my elbows, my wrists, my hands, my fingers. I'm also noticing my mood is so much better because just by going through that shake, I'm like, okay, I have changed. I've changed my mind and I've changed my body. So baseline, corrective baseline. Check in with your body, make a change, check in with your body again. This is really important because when you do that, check in and change, then what's going on is that you start to realize that you can make a change. I mean, anybody is gonna feel different even after just doing that shake. They're gonna feel different. Like the most physiologically clueless person, believe me, I work with some physiologically clueless people. They're gonna feel like, oh, hey, like I feel different, I feel better. So and when you let people know that they have the power to make changes in their bodies, oh, that is when the magic starts to happen. And that's why I do what I do. That's absolutely why I do that, because you want people to have that like this is awesome. This thing that I live in, it's not just a brain taxi. This is awesome. So that's how we do it. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is some of the stuff that we've been doing with the rotator cuff. Doing a lot of shoulder stuff. I like to do shoulder stuff online because it's really easy to see. So I can just kind of stand here and do stuff. Because when I go all the way back here, I feel so distant from you guys. However, I'm going to do kind of the midline here. Follow along in your anatomy books. By the way, you are always carrying your anatomy book with you. When you want to know what muscle is working what exercise, check it out. You have very fine anatomy sensing tools. You have an extremely accurate model of the human body with you wherever you go. It's not cheating. It's smart. I was in a class with one of Eric Franklin's students at one point who was saying, so, what do your sits bones do in a squat? And we're all like this, the whole room full of like personal trainers and Pilates teachers were like, oh. And he looks at us and he's like, why is nobody squatting? Why are none of you putting your hands in your sits bones? We're like, we're allowed to do that? Yeah, you are allowed to do that. Anytime you need to figure something out, boom, boom, boom. It's not cheating, it's smart. It's, dare I say, awesome. So I use that word a lot. Okay, so taking your fine anatomy sensing tools and checking out. You're going to start out in the back. You're going to find the top of your shoulder blade here, the spine of your scapula. You're going to massage out, 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 out until you find this flat point, top of your shoulder. By the way, this is what it looks like naked. Let's see here. Make sure Bony is actually on screen. Yes. This, by the way, is Napoleon Bony Parts. He is my lovely assistant. If you have not met him before, you are in for a treat. You may see he is still taped up from the rotator cuff. I have masking tape and I'm not afraid to use it. So you're going to feel your way. Let's see, here we go. Along the spine of the scapula, you're going to find this flat space here. It's called the acromion process. That's acromion, like acropolis or acrobat. It means the high point of the shoulder. And then you're going to find your collarbone. You're going to come out here until you land on your sternum, right here. And you're going to put one finger on your clavicle, one finger on your sternum. And you're just going to swing that arm. And speaking of Eric Franklin's, it's an Eric Franklin image. And imagine your arm is a big, heavy silk rope with a big, heavy silk tassel at the bottom. Just going to swing it and swing it and swing it and swing it and swing it. Feel that rope and that tassel. And you're going to pause. And now you're going to compare your two sides. Roll your shoulders. Raise your arms. Can you see that? I can see that. There's like, okay, this arm is going up. This arm is not. You make a correction to one side, then you compare the two sides. Now, just to make sure that you're not all wonky, finding the back, the spine of the scapula. Spine, just like the spine here, it's just a ridge. Find your flat space up here, your acromion process. And get a little Greek temple and stick it to my shoulder blade someday. And out along here till you find your collarbone and your sternum. This is the only place your shoulder actually connects to the rest of your spine. Let it swing. Woo! All right, Maureen, good to see you here. So let this again swing. Big, thick, heavy rope of silk. Heavy tassel on the end. And you're going to release it. And now you're going to check both sides. Y'all remember what this arm looked like before I corrected it? Uh-huh. So that is correct and compare. This is how you change one side, you compare the two sides, and again, you show your people that they can make changes in their bodies. Plus, you know, you've got to know where all that stuff is and how to contact it, which is why anatomical knowledge is so, so, so important. See, now we are used to thinking of anatomy knowledge as like, so Janet, exactly, it's huge. And paying attention to how that small movement creates such a difference is like, it's mind-blowing for people who've never had that experience before. Oh my God, it's amazing. So, where was I? Right, so I was talking about, people think of anatomy as like, the subscapularis muscle is on this picture. The quadratus femoris muscle is here. Look at these charts. If you're really lucky, you get to look at this cadaver. Yeah, okay, cadavers. Okay, Cadaver Lab is awesome. Don't ever, 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 morning guys. Don't ever, ever, ever let me tell you, let anybody tell you that Cadaver Lab is not awesome, because I'm a huge fan of Cadaver Lab. However, this is not a cadaver. This is your anatomy book. Anywhere you go, you have it with you. It's not cheating to check it out. It's just saying, keep that in mind, completely 100%. So those are our two major tools for creating body awareness. Now, when we're talking about modifying an exercise, when you have injured people, there are three major ways that you can modify exercises. Now, the first one is to change the range of motion. You can increase or decrease the range of motion. If I've got someone with rotator cuff issues, they're not going to be able to do this, depending on how bad and how recent their rotator cuff issue is. Mine's old enough that I can do it again. I have a very, very experienced body, particularly a very experienced right shoulder, just saying. So if they can't reach all the way up, find a smaller range of motion. Lift less, change the plane, find something that they can do. If you're teaching Pilates and you want them to do a full teaser straight up, maybe those arms are just coming out here. Maybe you're going to increase or decrease the lever load. So instead of having a straight arm, hands on shoulders, so you can still raise, you can still extend the shoulder joint, but you're not having this like, okay, that's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on the shoulder joint. And you can also increase or decrease the base of support. If somebody, again, Pilates, if you're going to go into a teaser, maybe you don't lift the legs off the ground. Maybe you just keep the toes touching the ground. So you still have that balance and core action, or you keep the knees bent. That's more of a lever load thing. Keep the toes touching the ground so you don't have to worry about falling over. So this also works for your more advanced clients. Lever load, range of motion, and lever load, range of motion, and base of support. You can increase or decrease it to modify those exercises for anybody. So if somebody's really advanced, well, hell, you get them to lengthen those legs, lengthen the arms, increase the range of motion, decrease their base of stability, make them stand on one foot if they're doing standing exercise. Sit them on something unstable. Oh, they're going to love that. That's extra core work, my dears. So you can take an open level class and you can modify it with these things. But again, knowing the anatomical reasons behind what they can and can't do is going to be really, really important. So, now I'm going to get into the guts, dare I say, of integrating the anatomical teaching. So when we're doing this, my favorite things to do when we're talking about integrating anatomy into teaching, I use bony landmarks all the time, and I use origins and insertions all the time. I also use body systems. I get sneakier on body systems though, because not everybody wants to think about their intestines when they're having a workout. So bony landmarks. Here's bony. He's a landmark. No. Bony landmarks are just those really prominent points, your mastoid process. You bring your fingers behind your ears, find an upside down triangle behind your ear. On the same side, find your collarbone. Move this point behind your ear away from your collarbone and your sternum, where we were practicing beforehand. Woo! You feel that line of muscle right between the two? We could also say, hey, this is origins and insertions as well, because this is your sternocleidomastoid muscle right here. Sternum, clavicle, mastoid process. Moving those two parts away from each other. Bam, I'm stretching that muscle. And I'm going to bring my head down, and I feel like I got banana neck here. So, correct and compare. Feel how one side of your neck feels so different from the other. Other side, behind the ear. You can even feel the line of the muscle maybe. Come right down, move the clavicle and the sternum, or put your hand right here on your body and move this point away from that bump behind your ear. You don't have to get all Latinate. pets. I see how some of y'all have pets that are coming to visit. Awesome. So lengthening out the sternocleidomastoid in your neck. If you know origins and insertions, you know how to strengthen or stretch any muscle. Any muscle. To stretch any muscle, you take the two attachment points, you move them away from each other. To strengthen any muscle, you take those two attachment points, you move them toward each other. Boom. That's all. That's all it is. That's it. And then, bam, you know how to do anything. Absolutely anything. You have the power. So like I said, bony landmarks, because they're easy to feel and they're easy to cue. I mean, you can feel, okay, you feel this flat part of your shoulder here. You feel your sits bones. You feel your heel bones. You feel your hip points. Maybe, depending on your class, you feel your pubic bone, hip bone, pubic bone, right in between. That's your actual hip joint, right here, where your actual hip joint is. This is really hip width apart, not this. This is the greater trochanter. You can call this your thigh bone, your bone bump. You can call it whatever the heck you like. You can call it your greater trochanter. I'm cool with that. I do that all the time. But then again, I'm a big anatomy geek and all my people know that. So yeah, it's actually, I see Maureen's mentioning, they don't teach tons of anatomy in teacher training, and it drives me nuts. I went to a Pilates teacher training and ended up being a teacher trainer for the Kane School of Core Integration here in New York City. And these guys are so into anatomy. I mean, that ended up being my favorite part to teach, and it was super, super cool. And, in understanding how all that anatomy worked, it really, really, really helped our teaching. The whole reason I went to that school in the first place was because I kept getting these Pilates classes like, damn, this teacher is amazing. Where'd you study? Oh, Kane School. No, where'd you study? Oh, Kane School. Where'd you study? Kane School. Like, I must study at the Kane School. So you want to be that teacher. And I'm assuming here that you want to be that teacher that people are like, wow, where'd you study? Where'd you learn all this amazing stuff? Somatic anatomy. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this, you guys. All right, so again, when your bones, if you can get your bones organized, your muscles are going to work right. That's it. I mean, it's just, your muscles can't work wrong when your bones are working right. So the better you can get your bones positioned, they're real simple. There's only 206 bones in the body, and most of them are like hands, feet, and spine. And you're not going to be cueing from like, all right, so from the hamate and the lunate in the wrist, you're going to be externally rotating. Like, no, you might. I'm not going to say don't ever, but I am going to say only do that in a super, super, super specific class. Raise the navicular bone in your foot. I've been in those classes and they're awesome, but they're also very, very, very specialized. So most of us aren't going to be cueing from those things. I haven't done it in years, honestly. So you're going to be cueing from things like the point of your elbow, the point of your shoulder, the point of your hip, your sits bones. They're really clear. They're really easy to find. The base of your skull, where your skull meets your spine. This is one of my favorite places. It's an extremely important part of the body, and it helps to organize your whole damn spine. So, bones. When you know where the bones are, you know where the important bony landmarks are, it's so much easier to teach and cue because people get it. They can feel it on their own bodies. You can feel it on their bodies if you're happy, if you're somewhere that you can teach, and it is so much easier. Now, again, we've talked about bones, we're talking about muscles with origins and insertions. So again, we've got bony here with lots of tape. Origins and insertions, or just attachments, because it used to be that people would say muscles pull toward the origin. And then you start thinking, well, actually muscles kind of pull both ways. So often it's better just to think about attachments rather than origin, insertion, etc. It's so much clearer and it's much more accurate. Like instead of tendinitis, we are now starting to talk about tendinopathy, at least in the UK. I'm going to check out some more of these, US physical therapy and and physiatrist stuff and see what that debate is all about yet. So when you know the attachments of a muscle, again, you know how to stretch it. Here and here, I'm going to move them apart. I'm stretching my pec major. Here and here, I'm going to move them forward. I'm strengthening my pec major. Boom. Any muscle in the body. If you know where it starts and where it ends, you know how it pulls, you know how it works, you know how it stretches, you know how it strengthens. This little tiny bit of information opens up so many doors. You can also, and this is my favorite thing that I was showing you guys with this, you can finger cue people. Okay, move this away from this. Oh, it's a great stretch. You're a genius. Yes, I know. Or however you choose to deal with that. All right, and now we're going to get into class structure, and this stuff is delicious. One of the things that, so one of the things that I've been working with a lot is scaffolding knowledge. You know, I have a kid. He's 8 years old. I'm learning a lot about education, and how to support kids in their learning. And it's not just kids who learn stuff, right? Right? There's some great conversations going on in here. You go, guys. So when we're talking about how to scaffold knowledge, I mean, you start out really simple. You repeat stuff a lot, and you keep layering on the complexity. So you can start out with, find the bump behind your ear, put your other hand right here, stretch those points away from each other. And then later on you can say, oh yeah, you know, so this is part of your skull here, and this is part of your collarbone and your sternum, and that's actually where your shoulder attaches to the rest of your body. Just keep dropping those little bits of knowledge in there. You know, maybe not, you don't have to start out all at once, because they're going to be coming back, right? You're getting people in the series, you're getting people into the classes, and they're coming back because you are awesome. Anybody who puts this much time and effort into their continuing education is a really good teacher. So I know you guys out there, you're pretty badass. If I can help you become even more badass, everybody wins. Everybody. Okay? So the other thing is you describe a concept or even an image in multiple ways. So, and this is great because, you know, people learn differently. There's visual learners who see stuff and like, okay, once I see it, I'm good. So you can see, all right, here we go. There's auditory learners. All right, so the pec major attaches to the front of the upper arm bone, the humerus. It attaches to the sternum, your breastbone, but it also attaches up here at your clavicle. Did you know that? I got so used to sternum humerus that I forgot. I never really picked up on this whole clavicle thing, but that's really important when you're talking about shoulder issues. And now that you're hearing those words, some people are like, now I've heard those words and that really works for me. Here's the other thing, is they're kinesthetic learners. And a lot of us movement people, we are kinesthetic learners. So take your hands, kind of take your hand nice and big, put it over your clavicle, your collarbone here, put it over your sternum, your breastbone. Take your arm, bring it forward. Feel how that muscle starts jumping between, maybe even follow the line of it, from here, from the front of your humerus, right up here. That's because we're standing up, so you're getting the upper part of your pectoral muscle. Bring it down a little bit. If I were to lay back and change my relationship to gravity, hold on. Bands and springs are the best way to change your relationship to gravity. So I'm going to put it around back. And now I can feel more of these muscles kicking on because I'm resisting that band. So now the lower parts of my pec are working too. I'm not cheating. I'm just seeing what's going on. So now I have a visual, I have an auditory, and I have a kinesthetic sense of where exactly my pec major muscle is. And now, because I've taught all these three things, people who learn in all these three ways can hear, they can see, and they can feel, like, oh, okay, I get that. And now they get where that's going on. And I'm, like, yeah, okay, I've been talking about the pec major muscle a lot and several times, but people are getting it. Y'all are getting it, yeah? Yeah? Throw me something in the chat here. Give me like a thumbs up if you've got We've got emoji capability here. Give me a little, yes, this is super cool, or I have no idea what you're talking about. Let me know. I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Lemon water. Mm. All right, yeah, good. I'm glad you guys are getting this stuff in there. Excellent. All right, so the other thing is to model the movement. And like that is one of the things they teach you in teacher training. Like, you have to be able to do these things. And it kind of sucks for those of us with experienced bodies who have to demonstrate things. I was teaching a dance class, a dance teacher training last weekend, and having to model some of these spine postures. I'm like, I gotta get some 20-year-old who doesn't have a busted spine to come in and model this for me, because this is driving me nuts. But yeah, you gotta be able to model those exercises. You should be able to raise your arms above your head, or at least one arm above your head, so you can show it on one side. That's a thing. That's a trick you can use. If this arm is not having any of that overhead reach, but this arm is, great, you can just say, all right, so both arms should be going up just like this arm is. See, I'm demonstrating with this arm. So that people get the idea of what's going on. So they can see, again, that visual learning, they can see what's going on. So you can also show them exactly what to look for. All right, so when I lift my arm, you can see how my chest rises, and that changes the angle here. If my chest goes down, suddenly I'm getting a larger angle here between my humerus and, between my arm and my chest. So now I'm starting to get a stretch. So you can point that out, and you can show them what to look for and what to feel for as well, which is pretty useful. One other great thing is to prep people by introducing terms early and keep using them. Now, again, you're working with people for the long term, so you're not going to be sitting here like, hi, this is your first day in class, let's talk about the Acromion process. And you're like, I'm never coming back to this class again because you terrify me. Don't be that teacher. Unless you want to be that teacher. Some people like being terrified. Probably most of my students like being terrified. What can I say? Different people, different things. All right, so the other thing is let them know why they're doing an exercise. You'll probably get this in your teacher trainings anyway, but if they know the purpose of an exercise, like, okay, as we raise our arms overhead, we're gonna stretch out the latissimus dorsi. We're gonna stretch out your lat muscles. We're gonna stretch out the front of your shoulder. However you want to talk about it. Again, using multiple terms for the same thing is like eventually be like, oh wait, latissimus dorsi, that's like this thing, right? Okay, all right, I'm trying to start remembering that. Repetition, as a friend of mine says, repetition is the key to mastery. No joke. Can I tell you how many times I've taken all kinds of anatomy classes, sometimes the same damn anatomy class over and over and over and over again until it finally sinks in. This is why with my classes, I give you lifetime access to the videos, because I know once is not enough. As you go through the material, as you take it and as you apply it, you're gonna want to go back and be like, okay, wait, what did she say? Or, oh my God, I suddenly saw this in a different way. I'm gonna go back and take a look at that. You are gonna have that access. And even when we do the live class, I'm gonna be recording it, and I'm gonna give you guys the live video of that so that you can, again, go back and redo it and still have that feeling of that space held for exploration. Because that, again, I know I need that. I'm assuming you guys do too. And I know it helps the hell out of me. So that's something that I'm really working with as well. I see that I have this thing in the chat that I have not actually posted, but here is the link if anybody is interested in that joints and injuries class, especially if you have to get off early. I just want to make sure that you guys have access to that because it's going to be super cool. And speaking of timing things, if you guys sign up before 12 noon today, which gives you, a little over 2 hours, then you will get not 6 weeks of class, but you'll get 7 weeks of class, because I have had so much demand for a sacroiliac joint class. I don't have it written, but I will write it just for you guys if you jump in before 12 noon today. So you will get access to that as well whenever it is written. All my business friends are gonna kill me for this. I'm totally not allowed to be making extra classes, but I see how much you guys want this, so fine. I'm gonna do sacroiliac class. Maureen, don't tell people, okay? She's actually, she knows some of my struggles on this. Let's put it that way. All right, so let people know why they're doing stuff, why you're doing stuff, you know, why you're learning stuff, why you're learning how to apply anatomy, because you have all this knowledge. You want more knowledge. You don't want to get so far ahead of your people that they can't come with you. So you need to take this gigantic ocean, distill it down into just a few drops, you know, of the most delicious sea salt ever, and they're going to taste that sea salt and like, I'm imagining myself on a beach in Provence. And you're like, I have that beach in Provence anytime you want, honey, anytime you want. So, you know, little bits of information, popping them out there, letting people feel the depth of your knowledge and feeling the texture of, wow, you really know a lot, but I don't feel intimidated. I don't feel like you're blowing me out of the water. This is fantastic. So be that teacher. Be that teacher, okay? Because that's the good stuff. All right. And finally, you know, so you're going to tell people what they're trying to do with an exercise. This is why I have notes. I get so excited about things. I'm like, whoa, let's talk about the sacral joint class I'm going to be teaching because it's going to be so cool. Okay, come back to reality, back to the scaffolding, back to the notes, talking about what you're trying to do with an exercise. Sacroiliac joint, what you're trying to do is you're trying to deal with a lot of back pain and hypermobility. People have that all the time. And so when you're doing sacroiliac joint exercises, the whole point of that is to start stabilizing down through the pelvis, reduce the pain, and when you do these exercises, it will help. It will absolutely help. And Maureen, you should definitely sign up for this. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be so cool. This is going to be some great information. But I'm really trying not to get too distracted by talking about that, because I also want to talk about, for instance, we're talking about what makes it effective. Okay, when we're exercising the psoas in this way, while the psoas does not actually attach to the pelvis or the sacroiliac joint, it positions the lumbar spine. It positions your low back, and it positions your femur bone. And when your low back and your femur bone are organized, your pelvis will get organized around it. There's a lot of other stuff going on with the psoas muscle too, and you can get into that depending on the level of your people and how much time they have and how much interest they have in that, because it can get a little deep and a little woo. If you like woo, woo is in the body. Don't even get me started on chakras and the glandular system. Some of y'all know this. I know that. Y'all are in class here. I'll get that. And also you want to make it clear how each movement progression follows on from the last. So first we started stabilizing through the abdominal muscles so that you can work on keeping your pelvis stable. Then we're starting to release the psoas muscle so that the psoas isn't pulling your low back and your femur into a weird position and throwing your pelvis off whack. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start working with the iliacus muscle directly so that we're changing the shape of your pelvis from the inside. And that way, you're like, that's really clear. I hope. Yes, is that really clear? Let me know. The whole idea of that is that, yeah, you're getting the clarity. People are getting the clarity they need, and they're getting the clarity they need in the information, and they know why they're doing these exercises, which may, frankly, hurt like hell, because when you are, when you're targeting those muscles that people need to target, it gets brutal. It really gets brutal. And that's, honestly, that's how you know that it's working. It's not like pain is the only thing, but if an exercise is really hard, you know that body needs that. That muscle has no idea what you're doing. So you need to be there and saying like, okay, no, I want this to be real specific, like, but it's hard. Like, yeah, I know it's hard and it sucks that it's hard, and it's going to help. The great thing is, as Janet was noticing earlier, even these little exercises can have such a huge effect, so you don't have to make them suffer for too long. All right, so that's like the standard scaffolding. That goes with basically every educational platform. I have a friend of mine who's a teacher, and she and I are talking a lot about this and how it fits into teaching, teaching movement, etc. But the other thing is that when you're scaffolding movement, it's a little bit different. Now, Yeah, I can't do this with Bony because he doesn't move himself. The first thing, when you're scaffolding movement, the first kind of step you're doing is first, you're going to do it for them. Okay, you don't have this range of motion. You relax your arm. I'm going to move it. I'm just going to give you some range of motion through that shoulder joint. I'm going to do it for you. You relax. This is an amazing tool. It's experiencing the feeling of being moved. It really makes it makes astounding changes in the joints. So first you do it for them. Then, okay, now you make a circle with your elbow here, and I'm just going to support you and keep you steady in your motion. And maybe you like wax on, wax off here. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to help support you in that movement. Next step is you're going to be there while they do it. You're like, okay, I'm just, maybe my hand's here, maybe my hand's here, maybe I'm just standing in the room. It's all a layer. Then I can do things like I can resist, I can assist or I can resist. Okay, now you keep doing this motion while I try to distract you, pushing, I make faces, whatever. You keep doing that. And finally, you're going to let them do it on their own. Okay, and there you go. And now you know how to do this. And I can send you out into the world knowing that you know how to do these things. And that is when you're like, yes, my client's in good shape. Yes, I'm super happy. Yes. And again, that's such a good feeling when you get that happening with your people. All right, other things to consider in your teaching. Accountability. It's something that's been incredibly useful for me. Having other people who will talk to you and be like, did you do your homework today? I give my people homework. I'm like, okay, so how'd you do your homework this week? Some people are really good at homework. Have you ever had a client actually do their homework and come back in such better shape, like just a week later? It's the best feeling ever. When they don't do their homework, okay, what got in the way? Oh, there's time. Oh, I feel stupid. I just forgot. And then you can work with that aspect of it. Like, okay, what's going to help keep you on track? What's going to help keep you coming to class and continually working? Sometimes that's your kind of accountability. How to get them coming back into class. Like, okay, class is going to be fun. It's going to be accepting. It's going to make you feel better. If people leave your classes feeling better, they're going to come back. That's the important part. You can do peer groups. Like a small group work can be really, really effective. You take people, you break them out, and I'm going to be doing a lot of this in our live class in joints and injuries because again, it's so good. You take you break a big class into a few small pieces, and you send people out to teach each other or to discuss stuff with each other, ask their questions. Because when you start to teach your own stuff, and this is not so much for client stuff. This is more for us as teachers, like really getting the material. When we start like trying to teach things and work with people with different skill levels or even just different perspectives, it's like it's like fire hosing your experience. Because it takes so long to gain experience. But the more experiences you have, the better it is. If you talk to different people with different injuries, different bodies, different movement, like different experiences of everything, then your mind expands, your experience widens, and you become a better teacher because even just intellectually, about more stuff that's going on. So as a teacher, find a peer group, hang out with people. This is really, really, really important because maybe you have a bunch of shoulder issues and you work with a bunch of people with shoulder issues, but you don't have a lot of people with foot issues. So you find, so you're hanging out in the anatomy party and you find somebody who's like, man, I have all these plantar fasciitis people and this is what I'm doing for them. You say, oh, I just got a plantar fasciitis person coming into my practice. Can we talk? And then boom, you've got these interactive links and the other person can say, oh, hey, yeah, I see that you do shoulder stuff. I was like, I got a kind of grouchy shoulder. What would you suggest? So then everybody wins and everybody's experience expands. And that is so important. Peer groups. It really, there's nothing like them. It is the best. Again, with practice teaching, It lets you know exactly what you don't know. Take some of this information. Find that friend, be like, hey, can I just explain this to you for a bit and see if I've got it? You will find out exactly how much you understand and how much you don't. We're gonna actually be doing a little bit of that bonus, like teach the teacher, like, okay, tell me what you just learned. 30 seconds or less, go. And yeah, it's scary, but it's one of those things that if you really, really, really want to improve your teaching, you take that step, you step up. Taking the scary steps is one, scary, but two, it's where you make the biggest changes, the absolute biggest changes. Take the scary steps. If you do it right, you find a place where you will be supported to take those scary steps. And honestly, that's certainly what I'm trying to do for people, because it's been done for me. And having that experience of being supported is so helpful in taking those really scary steps, like being like, okay, I'm now going to teach the teacher a concept I'm not really quite sure I understand. But let me tell you, you are never, ever going to forget it after doing that. So things to keep in mind. Finally, are your students enjoying their anatomy? Part of the reason that I do this, one, because it's sketchy and it makes people go like, does that mean what I think it means? As Nicki Minaj said, am I feeling myself or am I feeling myself? If they're having fun, they're gonna come back feeling good, having fun, coming back, and people remember stuff that they learned that was funny. You know, it's a lot easier to remember. You know, it's an ex-parrot than it is to remember, you know, exactly what sort of you know. So the African gray parrot actually apparently lives a lot longer. It's, you know, Norwegian blue parrots pining for the fjords. I'm gonna remember that one. Stuff about the African gray, sorry, not so much. But that's because Monty Python never did a sketch about the African gray parrot. So remember things, if students remember things that make them laugh, students remember things they can feel in their body, students remember things that make them go, boing, aha, amazing. And that's the experience you want to put in your class. And I hope that some of these things that we're talking about are going to help you do that. So when I'm talking about this, you know, all these wonderful anatomical things here, like, can you see how good it is, like how useful it is to really understand what's going on in your body, and to be able to feel it and understand it, and to be able to communicate it? Let me know. Like I said, a hydration break, but let me know. Give me a yes, give me an emoji, give me something in the chat here. So let me know what's going on here so that I can hear what y'all are thinking, questions, etc. Meteorites, excellent. Meteorites of power. Okay, so again, if you want more, starting next week, it's so soon, I can't wait for this to start. We're gonna be doing joints and injuries. Good, I'm really glad this is working for you guys. Yes, I can see that, fantastic. So again, starting next week, if you've taken the rotator cuff class, you know whether or not this structure is for you, because that's basically how I'm gonna run it. We're gonna do general low back pain, we're gonna do plantar fasciitis, we're gonna do neck disc issues, because I know some of you guys who are watching this actually have neck disc issues, and y'all need this. We're gonna be doing knee pain, I've already said low back pain, hip replacements, we got a lot. The baby boomers are getting older and they're coming into our studios and they have brand new hips. There's a whole bunch of considerations with hips, and y'all should know this stuff. Y'all want to know this stuff. I'm seeing this is what you guys are telling me you want. And again, don't tell my business people, but again, signing up, it's now about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, and signing up in the next couple of hours, and the link is in the chat here. Then you also get sacroiliac joint. Sacroiliac joint is not going to be in the same series. It's going to be later on in the spring or the summer, because I got to write it and get it going. But I hear what you guys are saying, and I really want to talk about the sacroiliac joint too, because it's so cool. So jump in, check it out if you're interested. Even if you're not interested, check it out, because I'm going to be here. And when you guys are interested and ready, I'm going to be here, because it's, believe me, I have done the research and distilled it down into these classes. Oh my God, for every hour that I'm teaching, that represents somewhere between 10 to 12 hours of research. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that was really hard to carve that 10 to 12 hours per hour out of my life. If you guys don't have a buttload of extra time, totally take this class, because I have done the work for you. You know, I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to apply it to movement. I'm going to apply it to the classes that y'all are teaching. I'm going to, you know, we're going to go through exercise demonstrations. You get to ask me questions. I'm right here. I'm really good at answering questions. Ask anybody who's been in my classes. Lisa, yes. Maureen, yes. Yeah. Yeah, Lisa actually just finished this ginormous 4-month class called Base Camp. That just gives you this huge, huge, huge knowledge base. And now you guys have, all of you base campers have this massive, ginormous, really, really big backlog of knowledge to draw on anytime you need. Because again, when you take a class with me, you keep those videos, because it's so, base camp was beast mode, holy crud. And it was awesome and it was delightful. So here's the thing, like some people are not up for the fire hose, and I totally get it. And I respect that. And I'm like, hey, if you're not up for it, don't do it. Because the people who are up for the fire hose are going to come in and they're going to take this class and they're like, oh, 6 weeks ago, I kind of knew some anatomy, and it was I was sort of on it. And now, like, my mind is expanded, and I've met all these people that I've worked with, and I've, you know, my range of experience is expanded, and I can see how I can fit all these things into class. I mean, honestly, even with rotator cuff, I'm seeing that some of you guys are starting to use this stuff. Like, shout out Maureen, yes, you're here. Sue Lay, she was telling this great story about how suddenly all this information just came flowing out of her supernaturally just from watching rotator cuff. I'm like, yeah, this is how we do it. Charlotte Marsh, yeah, you guys, you're getting that clarity. You're getting the ability to apply the information to the people who are actually in front of you. So, again, if you want more information, we are doing it. We are doing it next week. So you don't have to be like, dang, that's going to be a long time until that happens. No, we're going to do it right now. Right now. I'm going to put that, put that link up one more time. If you guys are interested, go check it out. And in the meantime, do keep hanging out in the anatomy party. I'm going to be talking some more about little bits and pieces of how to take all this information, distill it down, and to make it work in your class planning. I hope this has worked for you guys today. I am having a great time talking with you guys. And I would like to say, please enjoy your anatomy. And let's see, anything else that I need to talk about today? No, that's, I mean, basically, if you've seen the rotator cuff mini class, you know how this goes. We're going to be talking about, let's see, where are my notes so I don't get all distracted? We're talking about the anatomy of an injury. Yeah. Who gets it, what it is, when people are likely to get it, where exactly it happens, why and how it happens. We're going to be going through the posture, the alignment, the positioning, so you know how to balance the muscle groups, you know how to organize the bony structure, and essentially you get those bones and muscles to work together. You get the supporting muscle groups, you know, all this stuff that supports the rotator cuff. You get a lot of bony intake. So you learn what provides stability and how that body part connects the rest of the body. Large movements versus small movements, what connects and controls each one. You're gonna get body systems. Remember earlier we were doing that shake that felt really good? That's actually connecting with one of the fluid systems, your synovial fluid. And when you have these, when you start thinking about body systems as part of your toolkit, then you get, like, suddenly you have like this magic touch, and you can do things that nobody else can because nobody else knows of this stuff. This is like the deep secrets of anatomy and movement. You're also, you're also going to get some relief for whatever the overworked system is. Honestly, a lot of people have an overworked nervous system, at least in New York City. I don't know about you guys, but whoa mama, it is crazy. So I'm going to say, if that is sounding good, then get over to the Joints and Injuries link. Join us. It's going to be fire. It's going to be super cool. If you're not ready to do that now, that's cool. Hang out in the anatomy party. We'll be cycling through, teaching some cool stuff, talking about anatomy, and we're probably going to go on a little bit of a hiatus while I'm teaching joints and injuries, because joints and injuries is a lot of information, and it's beautiful, beautiful information. It's super fun. So I'm going to say, enjoy your anatomy. I'm actually going to say goodbye this time. If y'all have been watching me for a while, you know that I am terrible at actually signing off. So thank you guys so much for being here. It is my pleasure, as always, and I hope to see some of you guys in class, because it's gonna be awesome. Enjoy your anatomy, happy goats, and take care.